Welcome back, nerds, to another episode of Judging Nerd Culture. I'm Ollie.
And I'm Jess. And this is Mabel.
And this is Mabel. Our
child.
Sure.
Our little child.
But I was looking for a way to describe her, because, she is very loving to us, and only us, and otherwise hates all living creatures.
Yeah. I always get kind of mad when people are like, oh, she's so mean. And I'm like, no, she's not. Stop saying she's mean. And I get kind of angry, but then I have to remember that she is kind of mean to other people.
Well, the thing is, she isn't mean if you stay at least 5 feet away from her at all times.
Yeah, and if you let her come to you.
But even then, she might give you a good slap for no particular reason.
A good little slap.
But only if you acknowledge her. If she walks up to you, you pretend she's not there, she won't hit you. Point is, Mabel's a monster, but we love her.
Yeah.
And today, we're not talking about any of that. We're talking about X.
X, the A24 movie.
Yeah. A24 has become one of the most interesting movie studios that I can think of, to be honest.
Yeah.
They have such a unique storytelling style.
They do, yeah. Whenever an A24 movie comes out, I'm always pretty excited. Haven't watched, I think it's called Lamb. Haven't watched that yet. Do know what it's about, though, which is wild. But, Midsommar, X, all these other movies, they're really good. Mm-hmm. They're always very interesting. Mm-hmm. Scary, but also interesting.
They are some of the scarier ones that I've seen in a long while.
And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I think, Hereditary is an A24 movie. But Hereditary, even though the ending was kind of lame, there were so many parts in that movie that disturbed me. The first death was magnificent, just because I remember sitting on the couch with you and a couple other friends, and that scene happens, and it's just, if you have ever seen Hereditary, you know what I'm talking about. It just clean pops off, and I remember everybody else kind of whoa, God, being disgusted and super disturbed, and me and you laughing, because it was so viscerally disturbing, but also just it's kind of comical, because it makes that sound and it's gone. But we're not talking about Hereditary. We're talking about
X,
the movie X. So it is a movie set in early 70s, 71 or 72, I believe, about a group of people who are renting out this old cabin area on this man and wife on their farm. And they are going to shoot a porno. But they do not tell the old couple who they are renting from that they're going to shoot a porno. And then bloodshed ensues.
Yes. Not specifically because of the porno, but also because of the sex.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not wrong.
Also, this is not relevant to any criticisms or review, but the porno that they were shooting was The Farmer's Daughter.
Which was really good. We'll get into more of that, more of the plot, more of the meaning and stuff, what we liked and disliked. Did you want to do it the same way as last time, where we did aesthetic, or we didn't do aesthetic, did we? I'm thinking of restaurants. I'm thinking of our restaurant categories.
We need to write this down. How do we review movies? So, vibe is one of our primary criteria for movie rating. Mm-hmm. And that's just the general feel of the movie. That's great. Good to know. Yeah. What else are we looking for? Because I think another
acting. The quality of acting, quality of directing, the plot.
The skill level. Mm-hmm. So we can break that down into skill. Between, acting, writing, and whatever else. Is there anything else you think is vital to a movie's credibility?
well, maybe I want to say production value, but we did also watch Velocipaster, and that had very low budget, and yet should have won an Oscar. So it's hard to say.
Maybe the last pillar of rating should be like message or purpose, because like Velocipaster, God damn it, Velocipaster.
Yes.
Had a very clear purpose. Message, no idea, but it had a very clear purpose, and that was to be stupid as hell. Yeah. And it did a great job at that.
Yes.
So I think we've broken it down into 3 solid categories.
Okay.
Okay. So before we start going into each one, do you want to do a quick overview? Or do you want me to do it?
Of what happens?
Yeah, just.
I mean, I kind of already did.
Yeah, no, you're right. God, that's so. That's everything. That's everything, really.
That's everything. It's not a deep plot.
No.
It is a slasher film with, I don't know, an artsy feel to it. Like, it's a 1970s slasher film, but with, like, meaning behind it. And, like, done very artsy and in a very creative way.
Yeah, and porn.
And there's a lot of porn. You do see full frontal. Full frontal, man. Man and woman. You see it. You see it all. At one point, I was like, Ollie, I don't want to see anymore.
I don't want to see any more pee-pee.
Sometimes you've had enough.
I feel like that's a pretty common sentiment.
Also, speaking of porn, everybody should go watch Minx.
Also a very good
show. About a magazine.
Yeah.
It was a slightly pornographic, erotic magazine. But that's not... It's about the characters. And it's very funny and very good.
We'll talk about that in depth some other day, I'm sure.
Yes.
Alright. So, let's jump right into it then. For vibe for this movie, it had... The thing that I liked about the vibe of this movie more than anything else was that it had this feeling of they took a genuine attempt to make a story about people who thought they were doing something important for them, even though in hindsight what they were doing was shooting a smut film in an abandoned person's, I don't know, cabin in the backyard. So like in the micro it seemed really, or in the macro it seemed really kind of stupid and kind of weird. But when you focused in on each character and each person's purpose, like, it seemed really important to them in a way that felt like it was giving a lot of weight to their doing. Like, part of what they were doing was almost artistic. Mm-hmm. And that's just, referring to the character's motivations to make this pornography. Yeah. But, like, the movie itself took itself very seriously. Mm-hmm. It was still funny. It was still, like, full of interesting, like, little, like, oh, that was weird, that was fun, whatever. It wasn't just one monotone experience, but the entire time it was very much a grounded, fully believing in itself and its premise story. And that was cool. I appreciated that.
Yeah. I think the feeling that these people were taking it so seriously and being really artsy about it was because of the cameraman. He, says throughout the first half of the movie that he wants to do this porno like the French, because that's, the new fashion that's kind of popular, and he wants to be artsy with it. He wants to be creative with this porn, and so that people won't just see it as porn, but like as art and whatever. It's just porn. Everybody there is like super excited about it. The director, I guess, the man who wrote the script, the plot of this porn, and whose money is producing this movie.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know how that works, but he is super excited about it. He's really very passionate about this project as well, and them together, I think, makes the project seem very big. Like, it does seem like, oh, as an audience member, oh, this must be like the first porno ever made. It must be the first artsy porno ever made in the 70s. But I think that is where that feeling comes from.
Yeah, and it's the reason I think that's a feeling that I really appreciated was just because, like, again, when you look at it, all of the characters were dedicated to this thing that they were doing because they thought it was going to, in some way, shape, or form, drastically improve and or change their lives. And it did. And it sure as fuck did. I don't know, just despite the fact that the characters never really get too into their backgrounds and what makes them so, what has them in such dire need for this to succeed. You don't really know. They're not doing great.
I mean, in the beginning of the movie, they walk out of a burlesque. So I'm assuming he's the owner of this burlesque, and these are the showgirls.
So yeah, it never really gets too into it, but it's clear, like, all right, this is who they are, this is where they're at. And it's set up such a quick characterization of them and, like, their needs for, growth or whatever else with a couple scenes. So, I don't know, that investment into the characters and what they need to succeed in their, for 10 futures, was just very enlightening. Like, it made it so that right off the bat, I kind of wanted certain people to survive.
Yeah. I mean, even though they, are doing the porn, they're sinful heathens, they are really cool people. I mean, they have a session where they're just all chilling, after the fact of this porn being made, in this small, kind of cozy little cabin, I think.
It didn't look too bad.
Which, if they had just locked the doors, they would have been fine. Nothing bad would have happened.
Yeah,
They're two old people. They could have just locked the doors.
Yeah, the killer was not magical. It just was an old lady with a knife.
Yeah. Which is terrifying. But but anyway, they're having this conversation, and they're talking to the sound girl, I guess, is what she would be. I don't know anything about producing a porno or a movie. But she's the girlfriend of the cameraman, and she's asking these questions because she's really not used to this sort of thing and these sort of people. She's, as her boyfriend says, she's not like the others. She's a good girl. She's, goes to church, or like she's never had sex, I guess. I don't know. She just seems, very quiet, calm. Maybe, I don't know, safely raised or something. Who knows? Yeah. But she is asking all these questions, like, why do you do this? Like, you feel okay with it? Like, don't you, feel bad when the person you love is boning someone else for a porno? And they just kind of discuss that, like, nobody else should decide what you do with your life, and you just live it the way you want to, because we're all going to be old and die someday, and we're not going to be able to do these things. And when it comes to sex and love, they can be separate. Like, when you choose to love someone, you can choose to be monogamous, or you can love that person, but also have an understanding that you can choose to have sex with other people. I don't know, it was very, very modern, very, empowering to the women at the time in the 70s. I don't know, I thought that was a really cool scene. Because it didn't make it seem like these women were, floozy women who were just like, let's make pornos and have sex all the time, and like, I don't know, usually they're like, these women are sleazy, they're no good, they're gross, yucky, dirty, whatever.
Or they're a lot of times being shown as being, like, taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And these women, like, more so than the men in this movie, seemed like they knew what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like they knew what was going to happen. They were there to act and let people watch it because they wanted to be stars. They wanted to get money. They knew perverts were going to watch them. They didn't care.
Yeah. Perverts pay the bills. I think they said that.
They literally say that. So yeah, it's a really cool scene. But I appreciate it. I don't know.
Yeah. I agree. That was probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Again, because it really dives into more of the characters and who they are.
Yeah.
But on top of that, like you said, it just had a real in a movie that was entirely uncomfortable. Almost the entire fucking time, a scene of chill, like relaxation. Yeah,
it really was very calm and inviting. They just seemed like a really cool group of friends, and they didn't get mad at this girl. Like at first they were a little wary because like what nonsense is she about to say, but she was generally just curious and wanted to ask questions because eventually she then said, I want to be in this movie, which is a whole nother can of worms. I think it's a can of worms that she opens with her boyfriend, which is kind of sad. It's a very sad scene where he cries in the shower. It really actually tore my heart in two.
Yeah, here's the thing. So, like, I'm all down for people, exploring sexuality with each other and other people and all sorts of other things. But, like, if you're in a committed relationship, you can't just do that without talking about it.
You can't just jump in, Yeah. It's cool that she was interested in being a part of the movie. Because, like she said, like, this is a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Like, she will probably never have this chance again. So, especially with this group of people who are so, comfortable with it and that make her feel a bit safe. So she tells him, I'm gonna do it. And he's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, his response wasn't great either, but, like, completely understandable.
Yeah, he came out of left field. He was surprised,
Yeah. Yeah. You just can't surprise your partner by deciding, hey, you're gonna film me in a porno.
Yeah, and you have it's the 70s, I guess. Like, they're progressive enough for porn, but they don't, I guess, progress far enough to polyamory or communication. Who knows? But
I think communication is the key.
But they or open relationships anyway. But yeah, she just does it, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Like, she just looks him square in the face and tells him, I'm going to be in this porno, whether you like it or not, basically.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about it at all. I just decided right now, tonight. They don't have any time to talk about it. He gets very angry. And then the producer is like, hey, when it comes to girls, because it's the 70s, they're going to do what they want, whether you like it or not. So you're either going to go in there and film it and be good with it and everything will be fine, or you guys are probably going to break up and everything's going to be awful and it's going to be bad and weird and you're going to argue.
Yeah, which honestly would have been the preferred route. You should have broken up.
Yeah.
That should have just been...
Honestly. Which they kind of do. He tries to leave.
Yeah.
Tries.
But that is where the vibe of this movie changes from, this earnest thriller, this suspenseful thing to, this is straight up murder now. It's murder time.
It is murder time. There is a few scenes before murder time with the old woman that kind of just makes you feel awful for her, and like you really, like, I don't know, you're kind of rooting for her because it seems like her husband doesn't want anything to do with her. He doesn't want to, like, touch her. He doesn't even want to, like, hug or have sex. The have sex thing is kind of understandable because they're like 105 years old. I wouldn't want to have sex, I don't think, at 105 years old.
I do.
Something on me would break.
Oh, for sure. But the old man even says, like, listen, my heart is so bad, sex might kill me. She's like, come on.
Yeah, but it makes it also seem like this has been for a long time.
Yeah.
Because, she really acts very lonely, even though she has her husband. And there's a scene where they're having sex, not the old people, the porno, is having sex, but it's got like this soft music or something behind it.
Yeah.
And it does this really beautiful screen cut of, weirdly enough, the porno and the old woman being sad and like combing her hair. And you wouldn't expect to feel, these emotions, sadness or like depression or whatever while you're watching a porno being made. But it really is very powerful.
Yeah, well, seeing because pornography has always been a thing associated with youth. Mm-hmm. Like, don't get me wrong, there are GILF porns and other
This is not a GILF.
Ooh. I'm sure she could get some makeup. Whatever. Point is, that exists, but typically, porn is seen as a very youthful industry. And that youth versus her, her end of life sort of hostis version of living in this home is so starkly juxtaposed. How do you say that word? Juxtaposed? Mm-hmm. There we go. Thank you.
I said it with my eyes.
Yes, you did. It's so starkly juxtaposed that you feel the transition, even though the cut is so fast back and forth. And each time it's such a change in the vibe, like we were saying, that it physically is unnerving. Like the scene, if I recall, is just her removing makeup because she got all dolled up trying to make her husband horny. And it goes from that to these people boning down to make a porn, and it just keeps cutting back from this high energy, youthful experience to this depressing, slow cleansing of themselves as an old person. It's just very good.
Yeah, not lesson, the moral, I guess. I don't know, the idea in the movie that we're all gonna be old and decrepit someday and die.
Most horrifying part of the movie.
And that, our youth is going to pass us by, and oh God, I'm old already. The point is, wow, I don't know, I need to drink more water. Stay hydrated. Okay.
What just happened? I don't understand.
I am the old woman. Okay, let me get my thoughts straight.
Take two.
When you are young, you want to live your life with no regrets, and you want to live it to the fullest, so that when you're old and decrepit, you don't look back on it and think, man, I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have talked to that person or taken that job or done that exciting thing, gone on that adventure. Which is kind of what happens here with the older woman, Pearl. I just remembered her name.
I don't think I remember learning her name.
Pearl, she's old. She is very close to death. And, she's seeing these young people who have their whole lives ahead of them. They're young, they're making a porno, and she hasn't even had sex in probably 20 years. So she's feeling just very sad. And at one point, one of them tells her, it's not my fault that you didn't live your life the way you wanted it to, but I'm gonna live mine now. I'm gonna live it the way I want to. Nobody gets to tell me what's what. And it's I feel like the main theme of just getting old and losing that youth and being kind of jealous of the generations behind you. Yeah, behind you, because you see all of the advancements, and you get a little jealous and melancholy maybe. And
yeah, I think a part of it is also not just like not just regret about what you didn't do, but also a disappointment that you aren't that person anymore. Like there's an extended scene of the Pearl and the leading lady standing in the farmhouse, staring at a picture of Pearl when she was younger, and it felt very much like just I don't know, like Pearl was showing this was me, I was you, and I can't be that anymore, and like that disappointment that like they're not just mad that there was stuff that they regretted not doing. She's mad that this girl is her but younger, and I get that. Like that makes sense.
Yeah. When I am old, I hope that I can see my life in still a very positive light. Hopefully. Because I know, depending on the age you are, you go through different stages of who you are. People change constantly. They always say, oh, people don't change, but you do. You do change. Like, the core stuff might still be there, but everything else, your experiences, maybe the way you act or react to things change. And I just hope that when I reach that stage in my life and I finally meet that person who I am going to be, is a cool old lady, and she's not depressed and trying to murder people.
Agreed. Ever since I was young, like, I was early teens, and at that stage in my life, I hated teenagers. I hated the youth of America.
Here's the thing.
When I was a young teen.
I don't think anybody likes teenagers, Ollie. Nobody likes teenagers. Not even current teenagers like teenagers. They just happen to also be a teenager.
That's fair. I mean, there's a whole MCR song about it. That's
why you find other teenagers who you can tolerate the most. And that you call them your friends.
That's fair. I'm just saying that part of me is a little worried. Because even back then, I truly hated the youths. That when I'm older, I will be that old crotchety
it'll be
man.
A very weird dynamic between us. We will be sitting on our front porch in our rockers, and I will be handing out candy to the children, and you'll be saying, "Don't do that! Get out of our yard!
I will be that.
Walk on our grass!"
I'll be that old man with a gun on their porch. But it's not gonna.
You won't. You won't have a gun.
It's not gonna be a real gun. It's gonna be a BB gun. So I do want to shoot them.
No. It'll be one of your swords.
I mean, that's for real intimidation. But I do want to shoot kids with a BB gun.
An old man in a wooden rocking chair, with a broadsword next to him. That's Ollie. Old man Raoul down the road there. Be careful. You'll get stabbed. But his wife will give you candy. It's a very strange thing.
It's a game. You get to the candy and you run away before you get stabbed.
I will have to treat the children as if I am giving them drugs. Be very secretive about it. Jeez.
Now, realistically, though, I do hope that by the time I'm that old, they have developed VR technology to the level of the Matrix where you just jack in and then you're just there. Because at that point, fuck it.
Well, you'll be there by yourself.
Come on, baby.
No.
Come on.
I like real life.
Yeah, but when you're
I've been in VR, it's fine.
Yeah, but that's shitty current VR. Mm-hmm. Imagine the VR of the future where you're just in it and you live it. Come on.
Imagine the metaverse.
Well, not that one.
Well, in the metaverse, you can buy land, Ollie.
Yeah, but
there you go. You're already there. You're already a step there. You buy land, then you buy a house, and then you can have a weird virtual family, and then you will live a double life.
I'm just saying, like, if we get full Matrix with a full Sword Art Online bullshit, like, that would be nice.
But I don't want to be in a sludgy little vessel with tubies down my throat.
Well, you don't know how it's going to be in the future. I'm just saying, don't you want to be a deer girl? Like a real deer girl?
I will be a deer girl in my dreams. And maybe when I die, who knows what heaven will be like. Maybe it will be a heaven of my own creation. And I will be a deer person. Otherwise, I'll just absorb back into the universe. Who knows?
Fine, whatever.
Which also sounds very nice and peaceful and nice.
I wouldn't mind rejoining the big gumbo pot.
The big enchilada.
Yeah. But no, let's get past that. Vibe. General score. I'm going for a solid 8. Because I went into it. It is a scary movie. It's a thriller, but it's not like it transitions from just a suspense horror movie to a full slasher, and the transition is pretty good. It's pretty seamless, but I don't know. It's something about it that doesn't seem like it was
supposed to go together.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it was
cohesive. Exactly.
Like they stitched it together very well, but it still is clearly 2 different, skin tones.
Yep. I don't know. I like how it flowed. Very gory.
Very gory.
I do love me a horror movie. But when I see the physical horror, that really hurts. I don't like seeing, Saw, never. I watched it, never again. My sister hates horror movies, but I remember her watching Saw, and she was like, oh yeah, it's my favorite horror movie. Why? Why is that your favorite horror movie ever? You don't even like horror movies, and yet you pick something as wild and extreme as Saw. And I know to a lot of people, Saw is not extreme, but I do not like seeing, things on my body. I don't like body horror. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. I do not like body horror unless it is The Fly, because, God, Jeff Goldblum is so hot.
Sure.
But what am I saying? Yes, I'll give this a 9.5.
Oh yeah.
I'm not giving it a 10 just because, I don't know, there could have been something in it that gave it a extra oomph, I guess. Maybe not seeing broken fingers would have been cool.
There's also that part where you closed your eyes when he was getting stabbed in the eye hole.
Yeah. That'll do it to me. Everybody's got their own opinion. This could have been a 10 for someone else who does not mind body horror. It's not really body horror. It's just gruesome to me and freaks me out.
You also don't do well with joints.
No, I don't. Anything... Okay. If it's zombies, whatever, they're eating you up, it's fine. But if I see and hear parts of your body move in a way they're not supposed to, it freaks me out. Okay?
Okay.
Jeez.
Fine. All right.
But I really did like this movie. A lot of frontal, a lot of boobs, a lot of butt, a lot of cool cutscenes, and just seeing the way scenes were designed was very cool. I have not seen in a while. Since the 70s. But the story was a typical slasher, but it still had something to it that gave it, seasoned it a little bit more.
Yeah, it had depth.
And the way that the old people died was spectacular and might make me give it a 10, but I will stick to my 9.5. I will not spoil how the old people die, because it is my favorite part of the movie. Besides the love relationship between Jackson and Bobby Lynn. 9.5.
Nice. All right, so that's for the vibe, right?
Yeah.
What about just the technical skill between the writing, the acting, and the cinematography, or the cuts?
Well, I've already said I really loved the way the whole movie was filmed, so that's a 10 for me.
Yeah, the cuts were the weirdest I've seen in any movie in a long time. They were so fast a lot of times.
Yeah, the way that they, that they gave the audience the message of the movie was through all of these cuts, and they made you feel, dread or sadness or even like goofiness through all of the different ways that they would like stay on a scene a little bit too long, or show the two scenes side by side. It was very good.
Mm-hmm. There was like 3 different scenes where there was this constant back and forth fast transition between the two that was really discordant and just kind of uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. It was very good. Yes. I'm gonna give it a 9. I think skill wise the acting was also fucking great. Like everyone in it is actually a very good actor.
Yeah.
They also did a great job at being fake bad actors.
Yes.
Like when they were in their porn mode, like they were in it, and it was so good.
Yeah, they are. They're very good. You know someone's a good actor if they can
be a bad
actor. It's weird. It's very weird. But you can tell if somebody is, faking being a bad actor or just is a bad actor.
Yeah. All right.
So the whole movie rating?
No, one last one. The message and the purpose. What would you rate that? Because this one for me is going to be the 10. That's the tenor for me. Because without its messaging, without its purpose, it is a spooky slasher movie about a couple of old people. But with their purpose and their message, it's infinitely scarier. The constant, like you said, all of these transitions were really to put across their purpose, which is all of us are seconds away from this state of elderliness in which we lose who we were if we allow that to happen. Mm-hmm. And we have to, embrace these things and whatever else. And that is genuinely as scary as the entire fucking movie.
Well, that's because you don't understand that even though you lose who you used to be, you become someone new, which is also very exciting. And even if I am an old lady I have a walker, you know how excited I kind of am to have a walker and not, people think it's weird? I can put everything in it. Everything in my walker, okay? I can get one of those with a little basket. Perfect. The candy, the tissues, I don't know, hand sanitizer, extra socks if my feet get cold, a sweater, my purse, a cat, a dog, children, whatever I want. I can put in there and push around. Very slowly, probably. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hiding my fear of becoming old with a bunch of overcompensating optimism, but I don't know. We might not make it to old age. The world could end at any minute. Who knows?
All right. So what's your number rating for its purpose and messaging?
I think I'll give it a 9.5. Because even though I'm pretty sure that's the whole meaning of it, I think while I was watching it, there were times where I was like, okay, kind of what is this message supposed to be? Like, she's sad that she's old, and now she's killing people. Like, it was still good. I still enjoyed it, but sometimes I got a little muddled, but that could have just been me.
I think the muddling wasn't just you. I think that was part of them deliberately trying to have like a second, third act twist sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which they
they also tried to have a good message, or a deep message, I guess, in a slasher film. So.
Yeah. I mean, that alone is a titanic undertaking. All right. So, we've put together our scores. We've aggregated the total, and we are giving this movie an 8.6.
Seems too low. That seems too low, but that's okay. Personally, I will give it a 9.8.
Okay.
Together jointly, I guess 8.6.
Repeating.
Yeah, but the little twist at the end of the credits. We did not stay long enough to watch them, but
I didn't think they were going to do that.
Yeah, but we are aware of the end scene that is basically a trailer for Pearl. For a prequel, which super excited about. I knew that stupid old age makeup was for a reason. So the woman, Mia Goth, who plays the fixation of the older woman, plays Pearl in the prequel.
Oh.
Because when they're standing in the hallway and they're looking at this picture, they look exactly the same. The old woman, Pearl, looked like this young woman when she was younger. So, that was kind of weird when we watched it, and I was like, okay, so what? Is she just mad? Because, like you said, I guess she is the younger version of herself. But no, there's going to be a prequel, and Mia Goth will be playing Pearl.
Cool.
And then in the future, she murders Pearl, so, like, herself, I guess.
Nice.
Her older self.
Kill yourself and star in your prequel.
I guess.
All right. Well, I think that about does it for us, folks. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you watched the movie. It's darn good.
It's a very good movie. Mm-hmm. I liked it.
A24, man. Just, keep an eye out for their shit. So, last couple things. Remember to check out whatever else we have on this YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on any of the random podcast apps that we are on, we're also doing this on YouTube. And you can watch us there at Delta Cryptid Productions.
Do you want to tell people what is on our YouTube channel, or do you just want them to go find out?
I would like them to just go find out, but no, I'll tell them.
They're tabletop role-playing games.
Yeah, mostly just tabletop role-playing games other than this. There's one of the game that I made, Terra Mahia, in which there's a couple of detectives solving a quite convoluted murder.
It did sound like you said unsolving a murder, which makes me feel like they're committing the murder.
They are definitely unsolving a few murders. That's for sure.
Making the murder harder to solve. Good God.
Nothing happened. There's also just a traditional D&D 5e campaign of pirates in skies called Sandsea Saga. So
say that 5 times fast.
I can't. All right, but that is everything for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.